Good afternoon, I'm Chasity Maxie. Thanks for joining us for WRGX First News at 4. The security of your vote could be at risk this coming election day. Those in charge of election security expect foreign governments to try to hack the election system and even your Facebook feed. Sheriff Wally Olson tells me that investigators were serving a search warrant for a duffel bag, and unbeknownst to them, they brought the pipe bomb inside the building. Now I'm here on Sanitary Dairy Road, and the irony of that is this area right here is anything but sanitary, and that's why the Houston County Commission wants people to adopt a highway so things like this won't happen. Governor Blagojevich first considered closing the Pontiac Correctional Center back in May. Then it was merely a suggestion to help balance the budget. He said he would only close the facility as a last resort. But come December 31st, it's lights out at the Pontiac prison. The number of confirmed tornadoes that touched down in a deadly weekend outbreak is now at least 36. The Dothan Technology Center hosts this event each year, and members of our very own WTVY and WRGX family, including myself and Eric, attended the program, sharing our insight into the news business. Thousands of Central Americans moved toward the U.S. border in search of a better future. As John Lawrence reports, the president describes the situation as a national emergency. We are here on Foster Street right now, where people all day long have been coming to donate food to our Miracle on Foster Street food drive, and we hope to see you here soon as well. Some breaking news before we go to break. The gas tax just passed the Alabama House, 83 votes to 20. We will have more information coming up on WRGX at 5:30, and Eric has a look at your weekend forecast after the break. Stay with us.
We're working on it to assess the situation and to secure it and do what is needed to be done to transport it away from here.
The Sheriff Wally Olson is talking about is a pipe bomb that was found inside the sheriff's office Tuesday evening. After evacuating the building, the Dothan bomb squad was called in. Sheriff Wally Olson tells me that investigators were serving a search warrant for a duffel bag, and unbeknownst to them, they brought the pipe bomb inside the building.
We didn't know it was there, yes. We were processing evidence that we had recovered in an ongoing homicide investigation.
Thankfully, the building was virtually empty with the exception of the dispatch staff. Emergency calls were rerouted to Houston County 911. And Sheriff Olson says the evidence is part of an ongoing murder-homicide investigation. While he couldn't give specifics on the case,
I can say this has nothing to do with the Beasley Hollett murder.
Making for another busy night for law enforcement after a series of hectic days. In Ozark, Chasity Maxie, WTVY, your hometown news leader. It's an eyesore driving down some roads in Houston County. On any given day, water bottles, cans, wrappers, and other debris strewn about the streets. Houston County Commissioner Doug Sinkfield says the problem is worse on the roads less traveled.
Just people can discard their litter out and not be seen by the public, maybe, and so those areas out in the rural areas seem to be the most litter that we're having to deal with.
Now I'm here on Sanitary Dairy Road, and the irony of that is this area right here is anything but sanitary, and that's why the Houston County Commission wants people to adopt a highway so things like this won't happen. The Houston County Department of Corrections used to allow trustees to pick up trash along county roads, but that became more of a liability for the county if an inmate got hurt. Now the county is turning to us to volunteer, and Sinkfield says it only takes a few to make a big difference.
We would like to start out with 5. That's not a lot right now. We would like to increase that and grow, but if we could just get 5 to start, maybe in 1 in each district, in their districts that we have, we have 4 districts here, but it would be very beneficial, I think.
And let's not forget, there's a hefty penalty for tossing garbage out your window.
There's a fine, and there's a steep fine after about the 3rd offense. So it's against the law, and we just need to catch those that are doing it.
But it's not just about catching offenders. Sinkfield says it's more about taking pride in your community.
I know it's an ongoing problem, but we believe that's one of the ways to get our citizens involved that care really about the beautification of Houston County.
Keeping our roads cleaner 1 mile at a time. In Houston County, Chasity Maxie, WTVY, your hometown news leader. Since 1994, the Watoto Children's Choir has toured all over the world, making a joyful noise and shining a light on the plight of orphan children in Africa.
We have 3 villages in Uganda which house over 3,000 children, and we have women in the neighborhood over 4,000 women that we support.
The choir is part of the Watoto Church in Uganda, but as choir director David Atakunda says, the choir is about much more than singing.
We look after children, those that have been abandoned, those that have been orphaned, don't have parents to look after them, and also those whose mothers live in the community but are not in position to look after them. So we bring those children in our care.
Choir members range in age from 6 to 12 years old, and all have been orphaned by AIDS, abandonment, poverty, or war. Joanne Nakabira knows firsthand what it's like to be orphaned. She was brought into Watoto as a child. She now works with the program as a caregiver and singer.
It feels so good. You feel like you have a sense of belonging, that you have been through the system, you know how it works, and then you have seen yourself move from glory to glory. So you're like, you know what, it's my turn to help out my young brothers and sisters to see that they also flourish and be where I am right now.
But Watoto isn't just enriching the lives of the children it serves.
When I was still young, I didn't have any hope, but now I have hope that I have something forward. God has something forward for me.
The families that sponsor them are also enriched.
We've watched those children grow, graduate, move on to college, and other children come along to continue that role. So it's been a huge blessing to us.
Making the world a better place, one song at a time. It's a question most people ask young children. What do you want to be when you grow up?
A teacher for 2 years, and then I want to be a nurse.
I want to be a vet when I grow up.
I want to be a zoologist.
I really want to be a scientist when I grow up.
I want to be a military.
And on Friday, 5th graders across Dothan were invited to Career Day at the Dothan Technology Center. The annual event is designed to give young students a look at DTC's campus and a glimpse into their future careers.
One of our focuses is trying to get the students in the elementary schools to understand careers and stuff a little bit earlier, then start learning more in middle school, and then high school. Hopefully we can help them prepare to figure out what routes they want to go.
Students from each of the 11 Dothan City schools were bused to the campus and rotated from station to station, learning about various industries from welding, food service, farming, paramedics, and even journalism. The eager 5th graders were able to ask industry professionals questions about what it's like to work in each field.
We get to learn about their careers and why they like it, and maybe we can do it when we grow up too.
Student ambassadors from the center were also on hand to ensure the day was a success.
Basically, we've been talking to them about what we do in our TV production class, so from hype videos to photography, things like that, our newscasts that we do, and different other things.
But as much as the day was about elementary school students, some high schoolers were also learning skills they can use after graduation.
It's good that we build leadership in them. They become good role models. We work on soft skills and different things that students are going to need as they post-secondary education.
Exposing the future to younger generations today.
Oh, I'm really happy to go back home, but I'm very sorry to be leaving here because I've enjoyed it immensely.
This is Josephine Pace. The 98-year-old great-grandmother had to move here after Hurricane Michael. She recalls the moment she found out it was time to evacuate.
So I packed up to go stay with my daughter who lives in Panama City. And the next morning, my son-in-law came in and said, we got to go. We got to leave town.
When residents of the Matheson retirement community first learned they would have to evacuate, they were told they would only need clothing and supplies to last a couple of days. But of course, their stay here at the Wesley Place on Honeysuckle was extended way beyond that.
And then they told us we would be out several weeks probably. Well, that is going into, 5 months, 4 months or whatever.
And this isn't the first storm Josephine has lived through.
I was here when Opal came through, whenever that was. That was bad. I was living here then, and all I remember that it would just tore up a lot of stuff. But it didn't kill me. It didn't hit me either, like this did.
Marketing and admissions director Holly Whitehead tells me the Matheson retirement community suffered major hurricane damage. It now has all new floors, which is why it took residents so long getting back there. The transition was tough, but
our residents really showed just a great deal of welcoming and love to those residents when they came in. So I've been very, very impressed and pleased with how they just welcomed them in as family.
And on Monday night, Josephine and 7 other residents of Matheson will be back in their own rooms. So what will she do as soon as she gets home?
Well, I'll unpack.
And with a send-off celebration, Josephine and her newfound friends can get back to normal.
Again, it flies in the face of all logic and all facts. I'm at a loss.
Pontiac Mayor Scott McCoy is trying to keep a cool head, even though just Friday he learned the prison in his city is closing. His passion is obvious.
There's no question this is political. You have the facts, the figures, the reports, everything says it's a bad idea and you still do it.
And cries throughout the community are also being heard.
I think it's terrible.
Why?
This is going to affect this community.
Well, I know a lot of people that work at the prison, and they're putting a lot of people out of work. And there's not that much work in Pontiac the way there is.
After Caterpillar, the prison is Pontiac's second largest employer. And with the slumpy economy, about 600 of the prison's employees have to come up with a plan B to keep a roof over their heads. Many are pointing the finger at the governor.
Well, I think it's a one-man decision, strictly the governor. There's supposed to be a system of checks and balances in our state, but nobody's checking him.
Governor Blagojevich first considered closing the Pontiac Correctional Center back in May. Then it was merely a suggestion to help balance the budget. He said he would only close the facility as a last resort. But come December 31st, it's lights out at the Pontiac prison. McCoy says the state will lose more than $50 million as a result. He says $20 million of that could go to Iowa, and here's why. He says Thompson, where some of the prisoners are supposed to go, is a small Illinois town. So most of the employees will end up moving across the border to Iowa. That has him questioning the governor's logic.
If I had the governor here, I would just kind of ask him, what the hell are you doing?
And that's a question many others are wondering too. In Pontiac, Chasity Maxie, HOA 19 News.